Good morning, this is John, host of Mgtow is Freedom. And yeah, that's steam coming out of my mouth. It is fucking cold. Yes, sunny California, as everyone likes to think, is not really as warm as everyone likes to think. I'm like, Canada is the United States. I'm in California, but I'm a lot colder than what everyone thinks. Anyways, good morning, everybody. I hope you have a great night, and it's time for another day of work. And I wanted to talk about the real driver behind the Mgtow movement. Maybe it's not the real driver. Maybe it's, it's the problem with economics. As a lot of you guys know, I have another channel. It's called The Prepared Mind. And that has to do with shit hitting the fan and economic and financial and political problems and where it's leading us. And on this channel, I do talk about the social engineering agenda, and that's what's driven Mgtow into existence, is the destruction of any traditional hope for a relationship with a woman by destroying the relationships and the belief systems that women had, and then men, and now we're all hopelessly fucking doomed in relationships. They cannot exist. But what is the driver behind it for men? What are we looking at? A lot of the complaints that men have in Mgtow are financial or economic in nature. How do you support a relationship? How can you do it? Well, the traditional relationship requires a man to pay for everything. Everything. From the car to the house to food, support the woman. Even with women working, the man is still expected to pay everything. And then now, with the advent of the new legal system that we've been putting up with for my lifetime, men pay before a marriage, during the marriage, then after the marriage. There is such a high financial cost for a relationship. It is no wonder there is a movement that is called Mgtow, men going their own way. We cannot afford a relationship anymore. Never mind all of the psychological horseshit, all of the feminine-based emotions, all of the feminist idiocracy out there. Never mind all of that, right? The amount of energy we as men put into a relationship with women, chasing them and courting them and begging them. Never mind all that stuff. What does it really cost? And why are men going Mgtow? Well, I'm going to do something a little different than most guys have done when talking about this. They just say, I don't want to pay for it anymore. Have you looked at it from the angle of, I cannot afford to pay for it? I literally can't afford a woman. You cannot. We are in a situation in our country now where we're facing financial and economic restructuring. I'm not going to go the way of the apocalypse in this video. I'm just going to talk about the need for restructuring. The cost of living is going to go through the roof. Economically speaking, prices have been suppressed while quantitative easing has pumped trillions of dollars into the economy and into our debt. We as men feel that. We know that instinctively. There is a massive problem out there. So this hope for a brighter future with a woman, where you're young, you're making very little money, and you get a woman and you hope to make more, and then you have kids, and things just progress in a natural state. That cannot happen anymore. Never mind all the social shit, but for pure economic reasons, people are living at home with their parents longer. Men are no longer going after women to keep them because it is not cheaper to keep her. Unless you've already owned her for the last 20 years or so. Women are incredibly expensive. Their tastes are expensive. in order to placate them and satisfy them. The expense of everything is going through the roof. And that is with an economic situation where inflation has been kept in check through artificial means. What do you think is going to happen the moment that there is a restructuring of our financial system? And we're seeing Donald J. Trump come into office next month. That is going to change things. Someone at some point has to pay the bill. And that's what happens in relationships. Nationally, there's been a bunch of debt driven up, and now the country's faced with, fuck, I gotta pay for that. In relationships between men and women, debt is driven over our heads trying to pay for them as men because of their wants, because of the keeping up with the Joneses, all the bullshit that goes with a relationship these days, the modern relationship. At some point, you've got to pay it back. And it is fucking expensive. The reset I am facing is out of this world. I've just now got a handle on it. I can see my way clear of it, but when I look at the national situation, I just want to say, fuck, we're screwed. You know, I cannot afford to go out and get another woman and pay for her, nor do I want that headache. Women, especially feminist women, are like drug addicts when it comes to money. They see all the cheap money out there that is low interest rates. They see that as their excuse and their opportunity to spend. Well, it was on sale. I just had this interesting conversation yesterday where something was 66% off. And then the comment came up that, well, maybe it was inflated 150% so that they could knock it down 66% and sell it for what they wanted to in the first place. Right. It's still overpriced. Everything is overpriced, including the value of a relationship with a woman. It is overvalued. Because what are you really getting, guys? Not a lot. And you can certainly get it for a lot cheaper. When you look at the expense of a relationship in relation to our national national economic concerns, it is the same problem that's coming to rise to the very front of every man's brain. And that is, he's going to have to pay a lot for just a little. And you don't get very much for what you're paying for. So why bother? Why bother? Just as American businesses have quit buying American products and buying Chinese and bringing them over here because they're cheaper, American men, the cost to buy an American woman, way too expensive, not enough value. So they go overseas. The same way we went overseas for Japanese cars and Chinese products. Now they're going overseas for Chinese women, thinking it's cheaper, thinking it's going to be a better deal. You're just not getting the value out of it. And you still have a huge price to pay. Still, it can cost you in the end. The same problem, the very same problem that we have with women is what the nation is having economically as well. And no one wants to afford it anymore.